You are listening to the BlahCade Podcast. I am your host, Chris Freebus, aka Shut Your Trap. Joining me, as always, halfway across the world, Jared Morgan.
Hello, Chris. Wow, what a week it's been.
Yes, and time for us to wing it like we always do.
Wing it like a chicken. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I don't know. There's been a little bit of a pinball news, but beyond that, it's been one of those just kind of quiet weeks in terms of my activity, other than the fact that I found out. So, rehashing what we all know from previous episodes, I had an accident at work, at which point I completely severed my patellar tendon in my knee. And I'm coming up really close on the 6-month mark for when that happened.
Wow, it's been 6 months already. Jeez, it doesn't
feel
like it.
To you, it may not.
I bet it's, yeah.
So yeah, that happened at the end of September. And I'm about to head into my appointment to the doctor, at which point he's probably going to clear me for being able to resume work. Now, here's the thing. I can now walk pretty normal. I have a slight limp that I notice if I look in the mirror while I walk, but otherwise it's fairly normal. And I can go up and down stairs carefully, but I'm not hobbling doing it. Running and jumping,
and certainly not under load.
Yeah, I asked my physical therapist when I might be able to do those two things, and he says not for another 4 to 6 months probably, which is just insane to me. It's just because, again, you start feeling normal walking about, and then you all of a sudden your brain forgets, and let's say you need to react suddenly, or you kind of lose your balance, and so you do a quick, sidestep or whatever. And then you're reminded you can't do that.
What it is? Nope.
Next thing you know, you're falling over onto against a wall, and you're like, "What the heck happened there?"
Yeah. So that hurts.
Yeah. So we'll see. Hopefully, I don't know. I have mixed feelings in terms of, because the other thing is that I'm worried about, if they clear me for work, does that mean they stop paying for physical therapy? Because the physical therapy is definitely what's improving me. And it's like, well, guys, don't, yeah, it is. But it's like, don't stop me now when I need it the most, just because I can get by. Don't you want me to be back,
like 100%? Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway,
well, just raise your concerns with the physician and say, look, I don't want to go back when I'm nearly okay. I want to go back when I'm okay, and I can do everything.
Well, clearly they're not going to keep me on this for the year that it would take to get me back to this, but I definitely want to be sure that I'd like there to be some provision that allows me to continue therapy. So
it's one of those things that, like, if you can't actually do the job the way you needed to before, like, you'll be cutting things like, cases and stuff around. Like, that's not easy. You'll be going up and down ladders. Like, I remember you being up in the gantryways in some sets. Like,
I'd be declining that now.
Yeah, so you're going to have to go on like some sort of reduced duties thing, probably, anyhow. And maybe if they did that, that might be all right. But I mean, it's the physio that's giving you the benefit. So
yeah,
let's hope they make the right decision, and not the right decision for them as the healthcare provider.
I was going to say, remember, this is insurance company that winds up determining a lot of these factors. So you're at the whims of them not wanting to pay anymore.
Well, that's right, because it wasn't like it was through your health cover and you opted to go and do physio. It was like work cover. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So they want to, because I've been getting a check from them every 2 weeks, and they would very much like to stop giving me that check.
I bet. Yeah. Yes. So well, I hope all that goes well.
I do too.
Then make the right decision.
In the meantime, I've been using my movie pass card and just seeing a buttload of movies.
And doing a buttload of reviews on BlahCadePinball.com.
Yeah, I'm even behind. I'm one review behind
Wow.
that I really should get to posting. But let me just say, folks, that these movies that get nominated for Best Picture, I don't know what they're all smoking, but these ain't the best pictures of the year. I'm sorry.
I just wonder if it's not what they're smoking, but it's what they're getting in their pockets.
No, it's not what they're getting in their pockets. Honestly, I think it's one of those things where it's, and I'll give you, here, let me give you the example here. And I don't know if you've seen it yet or not now, but Blade Runner 2049.
No,
Okay?
I want to see it.
Now, Blade Runner it got phenomenal reviews. I've seen it. I personally love it also. I think it's just an absolutely gorgeous movie. It has lots of deep philosophical things that you can rack your head about. It's also just plain a very good continuation of the story from the first movie. To me, it doesn't damage the legacy of it at all. To me, it really hit on a lot of things. However, it did not get a Best Picture nomination. It got some other technical award nominations, but didn't get Best Picture, which makes me go, well, why the heck not if it got such universally glowing reviews? Well, it tanked at the box office. Now, if you look at these other Best Picture nominations, they didn't exactly do good in the box office either. They're not, knocking down large quantities of money, but they cost significantly less. Like they're probably maybe in the $15 to $30 million range. Blade Runner was $150 million. And I think that is it right there, that the voters all of a sudden go, oh, well, look, they spent all this money and the audience didn't show up. But look at these other movies. They didn't spend much money. They deserve an audience. So let's raise them up instead.
Let's give them a bit of a one-up.
Yeah, and that's the kind of thinking that just drives me mad. They have such an aversion to large quantities of money as if that's what makes a movie quality. Yeah. It's like, no, there's plenty of movies that spend large quantities of money and are absolute garbage. So yeah, it really rubs me the wrong way, and it's rubbed me that way since I was a kid. I remember the years when it was like Chariots of Fire and Out of Africa and The Last Emperor. And I, as a kid, was just like, who the hell wants to watch this? And so I'd always get excited if it was actually something that I had A, heard of, and B, had seen or wanted to see and enjoyed. And there are so few and far between. But yeah, all I know is Black Panther's coming out this next week, and I will be probably seeing that many times.
Yeah, another one of the many Marvel franchises that I'm yet to catch up on.
You need to do it well.
I'll just add it to the backlog, shall I? Yeah.
I'm currently, me and my son, every weekend, we've been watching one Marvel movie a weekend because he hasn't seen them all. And so I've been watching him in order, trying to catch him up so that by the time Infinity Wars is out, that he's all up to snuff on everything that has happened. And it's kind of fun going through them and knowing what is now and seeing the movies back when they didn't quite know where they were going to go and seeing how they've kind of retconned and made everything work. It's quite genius.
All right. Say. That's pretty cool. Yeah.
Speaking of franchises.
Hang on. Before you go on to that, I've got some stuff that I've been doing as well. Yes. So I managed to get a bit of time this week to get up to my arms in sanding, basically, because I depopulated the Star Race table and I started to sand the bejeebers out of it, basically. Getting from my head as I removed the mylar, and what was left behind was that horrible adhesive that, there's different schools of thought about how you should remove that. Some say a bit of isopropyl alcohol and flour. Some people say Goo Gone, which you can't get here in Australia. Some people in Australia say Orange Power, which is like a citrus-based cleaner, or Oomph will do it as well. But none of those things were really working for me, at least to the level that I needed it to. So what did I do? Get out the block and sandpaper and sand that crap off. And it was surprisingly effective. I was actually using 120 grit, which I'm sure all the pinball restorers are going, oh, when they're listening to me do it. I was going, I've got 120 grit here, I'll just use that. And it it was actually quite fine. There were a few bits where the playfield has gone down to the primer, but not a lot because I actually got the feel of it. I would say that if you're thinking of doing the sandpaper treatment to get your Mylar adhesive off, go to the areas of the table up the top under the apron, or under the apron, or up the top where all the plastics are at the top of the playfield to get your hand in, and you'll be able to feel what it feels like when you sand. So I did that and got it all off, and made sure that I really got it all off because, you know, it's very hard to see that stuff sometimes when you're sanding. As you well know, because you probably would have had to do a similar thing with firepower when you were doing it. But yeah, I managed to get it all off, and to the level where I was going, you know what? I think it's time. I think I'm going to varathane this now. So I got out the old, I don't have a spray booth. I don't have a spray kit. I'm just working with what I have. So I went and got a rattle can of varathane from Bunnings and hit the playfield with it. Basically, I went, well, what's the worst that can happen, you know? And turns out actually not that bad. the quality of the finish is looking pretty good, and it's probably going to be a thicker coat. I mean, I am going to probably give it a bit of a sand with, I think I've got some 240 grit there, so I'll give it a bit of a hit with that, and then probably start doing touch-ups on the areas that I need to. Now, I made a bit of an error, Chris. What I did is, when I was buying the varathane can, I was going, yep, I know I need to get the water-based stuff because apparently the water-based stuff doesn't yellow like the oil-based stuff does.
Okay.
So I went, oh, well, whatever. I probably won't have the thing long enough for me to actually worry about it, but it'll be someone else's problem.
Right.
So anyhow, I applied it, and I went, oh, yeah, it's really cool. And then I looked at the can. It was oil-based after I applied it. So I guess I've got to do an oil-based varathane on this now, which means I'm going to have to use oil-based paints.
Okay.
And I don't know, that might actually be a good thing because we have I think it's an American brand, but it's a brand called Testors. Testors is model paint, and it's all enamel. And the range, of course, being model paint, is it's got a lot of different pre-mixed shades to it. So I think the chances of me being able to match a color closely enough to what I need on the playfield where the areas are rubbed off are going to be pretty high. So I just need to go to probably the Testors website and use their color matching tool and see if I can find colors that are basically what I need. And then most likely, because of the range we have down here, I'll probably have to get them from the States. And get
one thing you're going to want to test out is you're going to want to paint, and not on your playfield. Something else you're going to want to paint, and then put a dash of clear over that, and see what happens with the clear on top of it. Does it stay the same color, or no? Not if it bleeds. No, if it just stays the same color that you want it to after it's dried. That's why the paints that I chose to use on my firepower, everybody says that they didn't change color once you put the clear on, or you know, so you can match the playfield with your thing and not have to worry about it all of a sudden looking different once you sprayed the clear over the top. So but interestingly enough, I am going to kind of run into the same thing that with you, because I needed to match my sun-weathered white that's in the planet, and I only have 6 colors in my kit, and I'm not able to quite get the correct faded white. Yeah, so I'm going to go to my buddies who has just a buttload of basically Testors paint, and we're going to use that to try and color match. So I'm going to be kind of in the exact same.
We're sort of up to the same point in the restoration. Yeah. How about that? I never thought that would happen.
Dude, you're going to be. I have no doubt yours is going to be up and running before mine even remotely comes close to it. So
I've got a lot of mechanical work and circuit work to do on mine yet. The boards are still being done. So there's a fair way to go yet, I think, on mine. But
unfortunately, I'm so far removed from when I actually played it, I don't remember exactly everything that I need to do. I think I planned on rebuilding the flippers, but I'm not quite sure now.
It's
So
I have to go back and check the list of what I need to do.
if I can even find that initial list, I don't know. I think I did like a dream list because that was back when I was naive and thought that everything should just be 100% restored, and now I realize that that's not necessarily needed.
No. I've been watching. There's this really, really good site that has a restoration of, I think, it was one of those early, or maybe it was an EM, and it was a complete playfield respray, Varathane, like 1,200 grit polish, eccentric, and all that sort of stuff. And look, that's great and everything, but I'm not nearly at the level of that with this playfield. Like, I'm going to get it to the point where it's sealed and the paint is looking better than it is now, because there was a few. I just want to try and get the lettering right, and I want to try and like get the black circles around the inserts, and I'm not going to even begin to do any frisket work on it. It's just I'm doing just the whole colors here and there, and anywhere that I can get a decent match on, I'll do it. So I just want to. Yeah, I guess I just want to concentrate on the things that I know I can do with this one, and leave some of the playfield a little bit, original, just because I don't want to go for a full resto on this one. I think it needs a bit of character. It's seen a hard life, this table, and I'm going to do a decent job of the touch up, but it's not going to be a restoration quality touch up.
I think it's in the car world they call it leaving the patina on. That it takes a lot of years for the patina to develop the way that it develops, and so long as it's not rust, then why not let it have that character and show the life that it's lived.
That's what I'm going to do with this one.
You can still go all the way to the 1200 grit polish, and I think that you'll love it for that, because that'll make, all that is just putting time in on sandpapering, after you've put the clear on. But you get it to that kind of polish, man, that ball is going to fly.
Yeah.
You do that, and then you put the car wax on top of it. Good night. And then you put the fresh rubber on. Believe me, because I just put the fresh rubber and car wax on my 8-ball deluxe, and I couldn't believe the things the ball was doing. It literally just like seemed physics defying. It was like, what the heck is going on here? That doesn't seem possible. And after a couple of months now, the wax isn't quite so grippy anymore, so the ball is behaving more now to what I normally would expect it to.
But it was like glass, basically, before. Like you were playing on glass.
Well, no, because 8-ball deluxe, I didn't do anything to the playfield. It was
it's just original, like Mylar on it.
No, it doesn't even have any Mylar on it. So it's no Mylar. It's like the basic. Just wood. It was wood, flat, whatever it is. So that's why I put the wax right on top of it, because it was just like, I'm fine. It's all good. No, when I get done with the firepower, that one's going to have, with the clear coat, glass surface, and then the wax, that one's going to probably just behave stupid.
Bonkers. It's going to be ridiculous. I think if I get it right, if I even get it half right with Star Racing, do an okay job at restoring the playfield, not an amazing job, because your first one's never good. Let's be serious. I think there's a possibility there. It's going to play pretty slick when it's done, and it's going to look nice and shiny too.
So I was just at a kid's birthday party yesterday, and we had the people that had the birthday party. It was at this laser tag place, and last year I had gone to this exact same birthday party. And that was when I was talking to the dad and mentioned pinball, and he's the one that mentioned that he had a pinball machine himself, and it's from there that's how I wound up getting 8-ball deluxe. Right. But anyway, at this place they had a one lone pinball machine, and it was Terminator 2. So I was kind of like, oh, hey, maybe I'll play some T2 when I go there this time. Went there, T2 ain't powered up. It's there, but it's not powered up. And so then I was kind of like going, well, I wonder if it's really down, or if somebody just forgot to turn it on. So I reached under the machine to go and turn it on. It would have been taped over. I was like, clearly there's something going on here. And I kind of took a look at the playfield, and there was a ball locked in the cannon. And I was like, okay. And so in my head, though, I'm thinking, I'm like, okay, so they've had this machine in this location for over a year, obviously. And
Right.
now I'm wondering, how long has this machine been down? And then I'm like, I wonder if I could make an offer. And then it struck me again. Oh, yeah, you don't have money to buy a pinball machine.
Oh, whoops. Yeah, that's a problem.
Oh, but that'd be so cool. And I kind of took a look, and I mean, yeah, the playfield looks fine. There's some cracked plastics here and there and stuff, but it was just one of those things where I'm like, oh, I wonder if I could get something for a bargain. And it's like, don't even ask. Don't even ask, because you can't afford it.
No, you can, no. You got to get your other machines fixed first, mate, before you can go put offers on other machines.
I know. My wife will never let me until I get these two running. It's like, oh, really? You're gonna have a third? I mean, actually, my 8-Ball Deluxe was giving me some weird behavior when I knocked down all the drop targets, and I just fired it up these last 2 weeks and to kind of test out, and I'm not getting that behavior anymore. So I don't know if it's settled somehow, that the connection that was going bonkers. It's still a case where I just need to go buy all the connectors and redo them all.
Yeah, I think you just need to refresh the connectors.
But it is one of those things where it's like, hey, it kind of fixed itself by leaving it alone.
Electrics don't just fix themselves; they're
Sure
always
they
broken.
do.
They're just in a different state of broken.
Nah, I got reverse gremlins. They don't break my machines; they fix them.
They fix them. Gee, I wish every pinball machine owner wishes they had those reverse gremlins. I tell you, they're the best. Yeah. Well, geez,
Okay.
enough about real pinball. Let's talk about digital pinball.
Yes, what I tried to get into, and then Jared didn't like my segue.
Really interrupting. No, because that system.
So, Pinball FX 3 Zen, they've announced that for release on February 20th, which is just in time for my birthday, by the way.
Ooh.
They have announced a 3-pack of Jurassic Park Pinball.
Very nice. What a great license to get. Whew.
Oh, God, yeah. And this is one of those that you just kind of go, all right, this is Zen doing what Zen does, which is put your animated characters in there, but they're more or less, you would think, not too far off from what Data East did with their Jurassic Park table, or, with the toys,
yes.
You just kind of figure that it's going to be integrated in such a way that we're getting the benefits of digital, but it's not too far out of reality.
Yeah. I really want that dinosaur to eat the ball, like as an homage to the Data East table, because they do that. They love to play homage to the real tables.
Yeah.
And I would just love to see a T-Rex munching away on a ball. But in typical Zen style, it would probably come running onto the table, roar at you, and then munch the ball, and then run off the table again. That would be cool.
Well,
I'd be happy with
they
that.
do have, and let me just run through what the 3 tables are. You have the Jurassic Park table, you have Jurassic World table, and then you have Jurassic Park Mayhem.
Mayhem. So what is the
Mayhem?
I'm pretty okay with the other two because they'll just be based around movie themes. But
right, Mayhem, I imagine, is them not having to abide by any of the movies. You're not going to be having direct quote polls. They'll probably get that god awful voiceover actress.
Let's hope not.
But I think it kind of allows them the freedom to,
explore the license the way they want to.
Yeah, to put whatever dinosaur they want to have in there, and do whatever they want to do with it without having to tie it in. But in the Jurassic World table, they showed an image of, it's from the movie, but basically you have a locked ball hanging over a pool of water, and that dinosaur comes out and snaps it out. So yes, you are getting your dinosaur eating a ball moment.
So there you go. Tick. We can ship that one. That's fine.
I know you want the T-Rex to eat your ball, but
no, I'm happy with that big water dinosaur. It's pretty wicked. It looked really good in the video. I went, oh yeah, it's cool. Yeah,
and this is it is one of those just kind of perfect licenses that you can kind of go nuts with.
Oh yeah, geez. I was following Mel Kirk on Twitter. He's I think one of the product managers there at Zen, and just the day before he said, I am sitting on such huge information for that it's going to be dropping in about 6 hours, which is midnight. And I went, like, huge enough that BlahCade is going to need to do an impromptu recording to cover this. And he didn't respond, but yeah, after it was released, I just went, wow, I could see why you're pretty excited about this franchise. That would have been fun to put into realization.
Yeah.
Man.
And once again, we're not going to get licensed music, which again, I'm at this point, oh well.
John Williams cost too much.
Music in general just costs too much. It's one of those things too where it's like, hey, we got the Star Wars music, so I'm happy with that.
Because that's like you can't not
those tables.
That. Yeah,
but
if you're going to spend all the money on music licensing, that's the place to do it for sure. Yeah.
So there's that ding on it. The other question that kind of comes into is, so my guess is that Farsight with Pinball Arcade or Stern Pinball Arcade, they're not going to be getting their Jurassic Park table anytime soon, are they? Because the odds are, and I would imagine that within this license, it's, hey, we have the Jurassic Park license to do digital pinball, and you're not going to want to have another digital pinball using Jurassic Park to confuse or dilute your market share, basically, as far as Universal.
Maybe not for the short to medium term. But
well, because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that was kind of the death nail for Farsight being able to do a South Park table, was when Zen got the rights to South Park. Now, however, Zen no longer has the rights to South Park. Therefore, it could become one of those things where it's like, okay, now you can do it again. But or at least there's going to be a moratorium. I would imagine there's at least a year-long moratorium on anybody else.
I would think so.
Do. Yeah.
But you definitely shouldn't waste your time on South Park because it's actually not that good.
Well, that's true too.
And probably don't worry about that so much. That's a license you can leave alone.
Which is why it's a shame, because I think Zen did do a good job on their two tables. So it's like, I'd rather have the Zen tables come back and not have the Sega table.
Yes. Yeah, I'd be totally fine with that. Yeah.
But it was like, you know what, Zen, good job with your Universal license. And it made me
making good value out of that, aren't they?
Yeah, it made me though go, okay, so what else can we do that would be a Universal license? And so I came up with a 3-pack that it would be your Car Mayhem pack, and that is, you do a Fast and Furious table.
It's begging for it, basically,
and you've got 8 movies worth to pull from, and obviously it's a very popular series even to this day. There's not been a pinball machine made of it by Jersey Jack or by anyone. So have at it, Zen. Come on. That could be some good times. So you do that. You do a Smokey and the Bandit table, which, again, come on. Ramps and jumps and barriers to crash through.
That makes a lot of sense.
Oh, that would be beautiful. And then you would have to buy the music rights to Eastbound and Down. I'm sorry, you need that playing when multi-ball starts. But that would be sweet. And then to top it all off, I'd want a Blues Brothers table. And with that, it would bazillion balls on the table, smashing everything in sight. And plus, it's so quote worthy that. I mean, come on, mission from God, multi-ball or something. That'd be beautiful.
Yeah, there's plenty of fun to be had in that license for sure.
Plenty of fun to be had. And then, last but not least, I decided also, just because I was trying to think of popular Universal title movies, Animal House, Food Fight, multi-ball, just begs to be done. And you've got the road trip aspect, and you've got your modes could be assembling a party, and I don't know. There's just all sorts of wackiness that I think you could be done with that. So I'm just saying, Zen, explore your options, man. If you got this Universal license going, really go for it.
Yeah, but the other thing, just a massive back catalog of stuff that they could hit into. Jeez, I mean, that Fast and Furious table is that alone would really probably change the landscape for Zen, because that will bring a whole new demographic into pinball.
Zen could do a super Zen type table, but if you did, say, Backdraft, where you've got fire and smoke and water on a table, you could do that kind of thing. You could do Ah, it completely just slipped my mind. I'm going to come back to it for another title that. Oh, I remember. Universal Monsters.
Oh,
Now, obviously,
so
you can't do
they won't have a
Monster
problem
Bash
with
with the
Monster
music.
Bash.
I mean, you
Yeah,
can't do the music, but you can certainly do tables featuring all the various monsters.
yeah, and they could do their own version of Monster Bash. Basically, they could basically call it Monster Crush and do their own version of Monster Bash.
Well, see, again, I don't know that I would want them to try and duplicate. I mean, I don't know. There's something about Monster Bash with the music that it does and the silliness of having them be a band
Yeah,
that I think that's what sells it. It's not the
ridiculous, isn't it?
monsters; it's the situation that sells it.
Yeah.
And all you have to do is look at what Gottlieb tried to do with Class of 1812 and go,
Oh,
wrong. So
I don't even know what that was supposed to be. I played that
no,
again the other day in the tournament that they're running at the moment. I just went, what am I doing here? I don't know. Yeah.
So that's why I say I wouldn't want them to do that, but certainly have at it with making monster tables. And if you want to do, it's your own Avengers. You know, you could do a couple of, you could do a Frankenstein table, you could do a Dracula table, and then you could do and all the other monsters table, with it all mixed in into one. I don't know. I think that you could really hit upon some good stuff there.
Yeah, it sounds like wow. Wonder how I wouldn't mind having Mel on the show, actually, if you'd be willing to come on and have a chat to us about just the process that's involved in making it. Maybe they couldn't even tell us. I don't know.
I was going to say, I don't know if they would necessarily spill the beans on, we've got some good stuff, how their licensing works or anything else like that.
Exclusives or anything. I'd just be looking for, how do you actually go about doing that? Like, what's involved from, like, the whole product cycle to get a table from, I have an idea, to here it is. Yeah. Like, that would be fascinating for me to learn. No, I don't know. But yeah.
The other thing that this all strikes.
Well, I know they keep their cards pretty close to their chest.
Yeah.
For obvious reasons, because they have very valuable licenses. So
yeah. No, the other thing that I'm just stoked about is, my God, 3 more tables in a mere matter of months since the launch of this platform.
And you'd be guaranteed there would be like about $2 each, depending on where you live. So,
well, it's going to be sold as a table pack, so I guarantee it's going to be $9.99 for the table pack.
Oh, it's a table pack, is it? Okay, because they sold the other ones individually, I think, like the Carnival one and the other one. Yeah. Huh. Yeah, the what was it? The Carnival thing and the God of War.
Carnival and Legends.
So yeah, Carnival and Legends. Yeah, they were all separate as well. So yeah.
Oh, okay.
They were a table pack theme, but you could buy each table separately.
Oh, see, I didn't realize that. I just thought it was sold as the pack. Which means probably for Jurassic, you're looking at $2.99 a table, or $3.99, something. I don't know. Because, like I said, it sold as 3. I'm sure it's going to be $10 basically.
That's
on Steam.
Yeah, that'll be fine though. Jeez, that's gonna be well worth it, as it always is with Zen. I don't really think, even if their tables aren't great. See, the thing is, they're not producing Pasha and Rome and things like that anymore. Like, not
anymore. No, the stuff they've been putting out has been really fantastic.
Yeah, so really, you can just basically throw your money at the screen, and you'll have some fun with your $2.99. Let's be serious. So it's a pretty safe bet to buy the table packs up front.
And I'm starting to. I gotta tell you, folks, if you haven't done it already, if you're on console or on Steam, I'm sorry for you that are on mobile, but eventually maybe you'll be able to join in. You gotta join in. Yeah, I know, like Jared. You gotta join in on the weekly Zen tournament that we're doing, because we've got a good core of people that are repeatedly showing up and playing and performing just bonkers in terms of scores that are being posted. And by the end of each week, we wind up having basically around 30 players, which is pretty good for an individual person's tournament. Zen obviously attracts a lot of people with their official tournaments, but for individual people tournaments, I think we're collecting a lot more users than everybody else. If you just did a random game, not to mention most of the random games are Sorcerer's Lair, because that's the free table. But I'm really digging a lot of these tables, and I'm forming a bond with some of them. to where I'm
All
like,
right.
okay, this is pretty cool. I mean, I'm kind of like going back and playing them on my own rather than just playing in the tournament, after the
All
tournament's done.
right.
So,
Ah.
we this week we played, what is it? Marvel's Women of Power, and was the champions table. You'll know that's
Yes.
the one that has Squirrel Girl on it, which is
Mm-hmm.
and has the most ridiculous storyline with Captain or Miss Marvel trying to fund her coffee shop.
Yeah.
It's the lamest of storylines ever. But once I got past that, it's a fun table that kicks your butt at first and doesn't let you score, and then all of a sudden you kind of unlock the key and you get some ridiculous score, and then you try and do it again, and it just works you over for not letting you do it again. And I mean, it's
Yeah.
one of those tables that you just kind of go, well, I can do better than that this next time, and so you go for it again.
Just one more go. Oh, just
Yeah,
one more.
so we did.
I'll just have another one.
So we did a 1-ball tournament, and thank God we only did a 1-ball, because like the low score of the tournament was in the 200,000s. High score, 2 billion on 1-ball.
Jeez.
Yeah, 2 billion.
That's
and then
what the hell of a score disparity. Jeez.
And then it was 1.2 billion. And then I came in third at 1.1 billion. And
Right.
I will tell you this, I got that score without completing the wizard mode.
Okay.
So you can imagine that once you start actually getting all the way through the wizard mode and earning all your bonuses that way, and even more to the point, I think about, God, if we had played a 3-ball game where your bonuses hold over, or you can get them to hold over to the next ball, man, those scores would have just been ridiculous.
Astronomical. Yeah.
And who knew?
Wow.
I had no idea that it was going to be this way.
Oh, that's crazy, eh?
Like I said, you guys got to make an effort, try and join. It doesn't matter if you're on Xbox, if you're on PlayStation, or if you're playing in Steam. I still don't believe that Switch is able to join us, but I'm not 100% on that. But basically, every Monday is when I'm starting the new tournament. Just search Shut Your Trap in the tournament filter, and you'll see whatever we're playing for that week or 5 days, however you want. And it varies what kind of game we play, whether we're playing 1-ball, 3-ball, survival, which I rarely do, 5-minute tournament. Sometimes I say you can't use any of the upgrades. Sometimes I say it's your choice. Sometimes I pick the upgrades myself. So just trying to vary.
You're always going to get a varied game.
Yeah, yeah. And fortunately, we're not always having the same people be the leaders. There's a couple of guys that are usually right up there, but it's not like the same person's dominating every single week and kind of making everybody go, screw you, I don't want to play this anymore. So
that's good. So there's a bit of movement at the top.
A bit of movement at the top, yes. Well, I mean, shoot, I look at myself. There's been times when I've gotten 8th place and times I've gotten 1st place. Yeah, so it's
fair enough. So, have you had much of a chance between all your Zen exploits to be playing TPA?
I have been playing quite a bit of Sorcerer, and the funny thing is I'm playing it on my phone, because when I'm at my computer, I'd rather play Zen, but I'm out and about, taking my kid to karate or whatever, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, what the hell, I'll play it on my phone. It's a fun table. It
is a fun table, eh?
It is a fun table. And it's kind of mean.
It's very mean. Yeah.
It's what's interesting is to me, I kind of put it in that same time period as Gorgar and Firepower, even though I know it's in the time period of Space Shuttle instead.
Space Shuttle, yeah.
Yeah, but it's so much more enjoyable than any of those tables. And I don't know if it's because of it's a fast table. It has seemingly easy shots, but that
aren't actually not that easy.
No. Well, I think that bend of stand-up targets for helping you spell Sorcerer, it sends the ball in all sorts of wacky directions.
It does. Every single target has a different angle that it shoots it off, because they're all subtly different trajectories.
Yeah.
And yeah, it makes the ball wild when you're shooting that. It's fun, very unpredictable.
So yeah, no, that's and I noticed. I think you had mentioned it last time, but I noticed that fake dynamic lighting where it
Yes,
blinks at you.
pretty cool,
I
eh?
didn't notice that when it first got released. So I don't know if that was a
Mm,
new addition to iOS or if I just wasn't paying attention all along.
maybe not, but yeah, I love it. Like it looks so convincing. Um, like if you probably not if you got DX11 and you're used to that, but like on mobile, that's the most realistic looking table from a lighting and effects perspective.
Anything helps. Anything helps
Yeah.
to sell the illusion. And I know that which we'll give a little more proper shouts. Maybe we can just roll it right into this. But one of the guys that works up there at Farsight and posts on the forum a lot lately, Farsight Matt is how he's known. He was talking about he was going to be fixing or just dropped in new metal textures for Sorcerer. And he's got an Ask Me Anything thread right now on pinballarcadefans.com and has been really kind of opening the doors, if you will, to what goes on there, what he can fix, what he's not able to, just based off of his own position. But most recently, he showed what the before and after, if you will, of Bonsai Run for what it looked like, how they photographed it, and what it looks like in the game to see all the cleanup.
Hey?
Yeah, to see all the cleanup that they wind up doing.
It's just incredible. Like the amount of touch up, like even the square, like the whites in the squares, a checkerboard.
Yeah.
Like they just, I don't know, like it is like you really have to see it to appreciate it. Like he released a GIF of the old one and then transitioning into the new one with the same aspect and perspective. And it's just like, wow, this thing looks like a new old stock playfield. The way they've been able to touch it up. It's just incredible. So it really goes to show just what effort is involved in getting these tables to a fit state for digital reproduction.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was really quite blown away.
So that'll be one of those too, that it's like with all the new things that they've been doing to these tables with their art style and everything, just the little subtleties that they've been trying to add in should be quite interesting. I'm most anxious to see what they do for that vertical playfield, what the transition will be like, because I watched some video. There was a question about, well, what during multi-ball, you know, how's that going to work with the lower playfield and upper playfield? And I was like, I don't think that's possible for the upper to be engaged while there's a ball down the lower. And sure enough, in the video, the way they do multi-ball, if you made a shot into the upper, it would drop immediately right back down until you lock one of the balls. And I'm not sure where on the playfield it is, but you lock it, and then all of a sudden you're able to shoot to the upper. You can complete the upper when the ball drops back down, then both balls are released and you're back to multi-ball.
Yeah.
But what I'm most curious about is the speed from which the ball exits the upper playfield and then drops down a habit rail and back onto the lower playfield. It's really quick.
Okay.
But the thing is visually, if you're following the ball, your eye's going from the upper playfield to the bottom of the upper playfield. The ball drops, and now it's at the top. But your eyes are doing a one fell swoop down the table. If they do this where it's a cut, if you will, from upper playfield to lower, well, your ball is basically going to be down at the bottom of the screen and then all of a sudden magically jump to the top of the screen as it hits the lower. And that's going to be kind of confusing. So I'm hoping that they wind up doing a quick camera pan so that your eye does the same thing.
Yep, they're going to have to do that. I remember that Farsight Matt was saying, it's certainly been causing the developers a lot of fun when they're doing this table. But he said in the art department, we've had to do some pretty interesting gimbal rotations on the flippers to get them to look right in the upper playfield. Which, that was interesting to see that they have to do that type of thing to actually get things working.
Yeah.
So it's going to be an interesting table to play, this one. Very interesting.
Yeah, and
for me, very subjective as a beta tester because I've never touched it, so I will have zero opinion on how it should play. So,
the one thing to remember: this was Pat Lawler's first table. for Williams. I don't know if he had done anything before that, but for Williams, this was his first table. So apply Pat Lawler logic to two things, which means obviously there's a midfield flipper, and there's going to be certain shots and flow that are very Lawler-esque. So I think that at least in terms of feel, you'll be able to kind of apply that kind of knowledge. Obviously, you're not going to know what the sounds are. You're not going to know what the graphics are. That kind of thing. So
yeah, right. It's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
Me too. And who knows? Maybe we'll be within this next week, or maybe by the end of the week, the beta will be in our hands. Maybe.
I look.
It is a short month.
And it is. February is not a good month for developers who are doing monthly DLC.
Right.
Particularly for something like this, which is like also introducing technical complexity into the way the emulation works. So,
but fortunately, it's also it's the last table of the season. If they do indeed do a gap month after this, there's no pressure for whatever the next table is. So, maybe they spill over a week. I don't know.
Maybe. I hope they give it the time it deserves.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, if you're gonna go for it,
you
give it to us right.
For it. I want that dynamic lighting. I want to see that dynamic lighting in this game, like for sure. Like that's now a standard. Unfortunately, guys, you've set yourself a high bar to continue. That's now a standard.
Yeah, we'll see about that. Hopefully, like I said, from everything that I've seen, I don't think that that's out of the question for them. I think
I don't think so. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. Wow, that's the time already. Far out. How did that happen?
Sometimes you're able to just muse about whatever's going on. Stuff and things. All right, folks. So that is our time. We always appreciate you listening to our show. Hey, have you gone and checked out the redesigned site of ours? If not, why don't you go over to Pinball Arcade. Damn it. I was doing so good these last 2 weeks. You need to go to BlahCadePinball.com/episodes. There you will find all of our past episodes, as well as all these movie reviews I've been writing. And Jared has been posting here and there a couple of other additional things, but I'm sure he'll be loading in some more soon. Basically, we want it to be a website that you don't go to just for our articles, but you go for the general pinball talk that we do weekly here, sometimes in written form, if you will.
Yeah. I'd like to interject there, if I may, Chris, that if you haven't tried using the Medium platform to interact with us, give it a go. Sign up, create an account. It's easy. If you've got Twitter, it's Twitter, and they even have Facebook authentication as well. So you pretty much got yourself covered with social sign up. And go and have a go. Like give us some applause on the articles, because those claps that you give on the articles will organically change how our articles are ranked on Medium. So if you don't want to donate or you don't want to support the show financially, you can do a lot for us by actually going in and applauding the articles and sharing them from Medium and all that sort of stuff. It all makes a difference.
Even leave comments on them, good or bad.
Yeah.
We don't care.
We don't care.
We always say we like to engage with our listeners, and another way that you can engage with us is via Twitter. The show is at BlahCade. I am at Shut Your Trap, and Jared is at Jared Morgs. Also, you can always drop us an email at blahblahblahcade@gmail.com. All right. I think that about covers all of our bases. So until next week, ta-ta.
Yeah. Bye-bye.